Well, you know the problem with democracy. I don't think there is any country in the world which does not call itself democratic. All countries in the world call themselves democratic. It's a matter, first, of definition, I think mainly of definition and of what we regard to be the essentials of democracy. We certainly ourselves regard ourselves as democratic. We understand why countries used to the multi-party system don't believe that a one-party system can be democratic, or are rather suspicious of the one-party system. We can't, frankly, convince them by sheer argument, philosophical argument, that this is possible. Perhaps the best thing is actually to see this thing in practice. What are the essentials of democracy? The essentials of democracy are that individuals should feel unharassed, that they are actually free in their society. Individual, this is the most essential thing. I never see why an individual should not feel free because of a machinery of election. And the two-party or the one-party is really basically a machinery of election. The second one, when it comes to machinery, is that an individual should feel a true choice of the people he wants to represent him in a government where it's no longer possible for people individually to participate in the government, that you have to select individual representatives. Now, either sometimes you select parties, sometimes you select individuals. Now, frankly, I don't see why the thing cannot be democratic, simply because sometimes you select a party, which is what the Western countries usually do, and in our own case, you select an individual, the party being given, the party policy being given. So this is the kind of election we went through the other day, and we honestly believe we are independent, and we really ask the old countries at least to be democratic enough, to have a free mind, and to study the new experiments which are taking place in the rest of the world, and this experiment which is taking place in our.
Good morning, Africa. Good morning, East Africa. Good morning, Tanzania. Good morning, West Africa. Good morning, pale Ghana. Katika siku hii ya leo tutaanza mazungumzo haya ya Good Morning Africa, Good Morning East Africa, Good Morning Africa, kuangazia matokeo kama mnavyoona ya uchaguzi wa viti vya wabunge pamoja na uraisi katika nchi ya Ghana ambao umemalizika Jumamosi iliyopita. Good Morning Africa, tumepata nafasi leo hii kutoka katika studio zetu za hapa Columbia, South Carolina, za kuongea na moja kati ya wanafunzi ambaye yuko mwaka wake wa mwisho wa kumalizia PhD, anasomea masuala ya kiuchumi au economics hapa katika University of South Carolina, ambaye anajulikana kwa jina la Idris Muhammad. Anatupatia ufafanuzi wa siasa za Ghana na hali za kiuchumi hapo Ghana, na wananchi wa Ghana wako vipi katika kufanya maamuzi yao ikifikia wakati wa uchaguzi, ambapo Tanzania ndio tumemaliza tu uchaguzi wa serikali za mitaa ambao ulikuwa hauleti maana yoyote kabisa, kuanzia katika zoezi la kuandikisha wapiga kura ambalo lilikuwa likisimamiwa na TAMISEMI na sheria za uchaguzi na taratibu na kanuni zilizoandikwa na waziri aliyopewa dhamana ambazo hazikuwa hazileti maana yoyote kabisa. Sasa tutamsikiliza huyu mwanafunzi mzaliwa wa Ghana ambaye amesomea Asia, amesomea China vilevile na amekuja hapa Marekani na yupo katika University of South Carolina Dar-Es-Salaam School of Business, anamalizia PhD yake katika masuala ya economics and finance. Vilevile yuko karibu sana na afuatilia hali za kiuchumi pamoja na sera za kiuchumi za Ghana, na ukiangalia watu wote kutoka West Africa, vijana ambao ni millennial na ambao wana umri ambao ni wengi wa Waafrika katika nchi za Afrika, hususan hawa West Africa, wana uelewa wa juu zaidi katika masuala ya hali ya kiuchumi na nchi zao zinatakiwa ziwe vipi. Ndio kwa maana mtamsikia akiongea nasi American Swahili News na Swahili Villa Online TV. Tumefanya naye mazungumzo katika lugha ya Kiingereza na Wagana wazungumzi Kiswahili, wanazungumza Kiingereza na vilugha vyao. Kwanza tuseme tu good morning Nairobi, Kenya, good morning Kampala, Uganda, good morning Bujumbura, Burundi, DRC, Congo, Tanzania, vilevile Dar-Es-Salaam, ambapo leo hii kama tulivyo headline hapo mwanzo ni kwamba tunamsubiri makamu mwenyekiti wa Chama cha Demokrasia na Maendeleo Chadema, Mheshimiwa Tundu Lissu, naye atakuja kuongea na vyombo vya habari. Kwa American Swahili News imebidi tuanze mapema kidogo katika siku hii ya leo ili tuweze catch up na Tundu Lissu ambaye atakuwa na press conference hapo Mlimani City katika siku hii ya leo. Nafikiri sasa hivi ndio wameshaamka huko Tanzania. Good morning Tanzania, good morning Dar es Salaam, wanajiandaa na press conference. Lakini katika segment yetu ya kwanza hii ya leo ni kama dakika 15 hivi tutamsikiliza Idris Mohamed, PhD candidate ambaye anatarajiwa kuwa Dr. Idris Mohamed katika masuala ya kiuchumi. Anatokea Ghana, amefanya mahojiano na American Swahili News pamoja na Swahili Villa Online TV. Hebu kwanza tumlete hapa. Sijui kama tunaweza kumleta huyu hapo. Yupo ametulia kabisa na nyuma yake nafikiri kuna bendera ya Tanzania. Na mazungumzo haya yamefanyika katika mji wa Columbia, South Carolina, na katika siku hii ya leo. Hebu tumsikilize Idris Mohamed au PhD mtarajiwa huyu mchumi Mghana huyu. Anazungumzia matokeo ya uchaguzi uliofanyika huko Ghana wiki iliyopita Jumamosi, na sasa hivi washamjua rais wa Ghana na kila kitu kinaendelea vizuri. Idris Mohamed tunamkaribisha hapa kabisa, anakuja kwa upole kabisa. Ngoja tumrudishe hapa kidogo, na anza kuongea na American Swahili News, Swahili Villa Online TV. Karibu.
Ghana is the land of gold. They just finished or just held the election. I think it was last week. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And then
on Saturday.
On Saturday.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about what happened and who won the election in Ghana.
So Ghana did go to the elections on December 7th, and what we observed was a massive win for the opposition, which is the NDC. And if you look at Africa this year, this is the 5th time an opposition won elections this year. We had like Botswana, Mauritius, Senegal, and Somaliland. So Ghana is the 5th. So I think this is a pattern that we begin to observe in Africa. It in a way shows the anger that the Africans have shown to the parties in power, and especially in Ghana, we have seen a party that has been in power since January 2017, and things really got very bad, especially the past 3-4 years, and people were really showing their anger and asked the Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, who is the head of state, to sack the then Minister of Finance, who was Ken Ofori-Atta. And that did not happen. It only happened quite recently, and well, it was just a mere show to tell Ghanaians, well, I don't care about what you guys are going through, because this regime was about to end. You know, in Ghana, every guy has 2 terms. So his regime was about to end when he changed the Minister of Finance, which was like, I think he changed him like 7 months to 8 months ago. And
this is before the election.
Yeah, that was before the election. That was 7-8 months ago. But then his tenure is over. He cannot contest again. So his vice was then going into the elections, right?
So his vice president was handpicked to run for president.
So it is not handpicked. So they go for the Congress where they vote for who should lead the party, and he won. The vice won. Of course, he had the support of the Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. So his vice lost abysmally. The vice. So according to the EC, that is the body in charge of elections in Ghana, he got only 41% of the votes, and then the opposition guy, he got about 56% there.
56%.
Yeah, so that was a massive gap. I had the difference in terms of vote was about 1.6 million votes.
So let me ask a quick question. This is with respect to the anger that you're saying that the Ghanaians they were fed up with the how the administrations, the outgoing administrations, the way how they would handle the country just in general, or the economy. Can you talk about a little bit about the economy, because we're an economist, as a PhD students who maybe in another year or 2 years you're becoming a graduate here from Madalamo School of Business. Walk us through in that area.
So we're talking about an economy where inflation was more than 40%. In America, let's put that in perspective. In America, inflation had not even reached double digits, and what was the anger here? I guess you can compare what will really have happened in Africa, I mean like in Ghana, where inflation was 40%. It is the same thing here in America. It was around 9%. That was the highest in over 4 decades in America. So in America, most of the inflation is usually 1 to 2%. So it was their first time that, I mean, for some people, I mean, if you are like 40 years old, it was the first time that they had seen inflation going all the way to 9%. And in Ghana, we saw it going to 40 to 50%. Wow. So that is one angle that you can make a comparison. I mean, for you to see the perspective. So just compare here in America, where it was still even a single digit, and the kind of anger that they had here, and that even made Kamala Harris lose the election. I mean, that was one of the reasons, right?
Yes, sir.
The economy. So what happened? The economy is always the number one issue when voters go to the poll, because you want to.
So I didn't mean to cut you off. In Ghana, what we have observed is every time you do have an election, there is change will happen. You see the change of the administrations. What is I'm trying to phrase this question in a way that some of the people from East Africa they will understand, this particular people from Tanzania. What is the knowledge that the people of Ghana they do have with respect of how the leaders of that particular government, let's say in Ghana, they're supposed to run their government? Do you think they have a very high level of education to understand what's the responsibility of their leaders with respect to the economy?
Yeah, so I think Ghana has been doing well. Right? We have seen, I think, so many types of different changes in government since 1992. That was when we moved to a civilian rule. So since 1992, this is the 9th election we have held, and it was peaceful. All the 9 elections have been peaceful. So what is one way that we have been, I mean, there are so many things that come there, right? So one thing is, well, before the elections, there is this peace council. We have something we call National Peace Council. So they talk to the leaders, and they even make them sign a pact to say that, well, whichever way the results go, we're going to accept it. Right? So even this election, just a week to the election, they had to go, those leaders who contested the 2 main political parties, they had to sign a deal. And another thing is that, well, when you go to elections, I mean, if the election is credible elections, right, you must also know that, well, there's only going to be one winner.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so you don't go to election thinking that all of you are going to win. At the end of the day, if you win, that is your luck. If you don't win, that is also your luck.
So you must concede.
Yeah, so even when this election happened, like, I think when voting ended like 5 p.m. on December 7th, by 7 to, I think, let me say by midnight, the incumbent party had already known that they have lost the elections.
Okay.
Yeah, and then their leader called the guy who won to tell him, oh, okay, congratulate him on winning the elections. So I think it is about we understanding the elections are not war. It's not like someone, someone wins and then I will die. No, it's a context, and in every context, someone will be a winner and someone will lose. Right? So it's all depending on the perspective. So because Ghana has had that known for a long time. I think it is now embedded in our society that, well, elections is elections. Someone will lose, someone will win.
So, do you think Kwame Nkrumah and his colleagues, they build that foundation for the people of Ghana to understanding that election is the contents and it's not about the tug war, that there's do or die, and there's no way I'm going to lose these elections. It's particularly that particular political party that is already in power. They refuse to get out of the office, and then they rig and manipulate the elections. What do you think about that?
I think Ghana, I wouldn't say it was due to Kwame Nkrumah's effort. I mean, there are many views, right?
Who instilled that?
I would say it was
process?
General Rawlings. I don't know if many of you might
Absolutely,
know.
yeah.
General Rawlings. So he came as a dictator. I mean, when he came to power via coup d'etat. Actually, he did 2 coups d'etat in Ghana. He was the first to do that, right? So the first coup he staged was in 1979. So he staged the coup and then he released power, like he relinquished power to like a civilian government. And then he came back again a year after, a coup again, 1981.
Wow.
Right, barely a year. Because he saw that, well, the guy that he gave the power to was not doing the right thing. So he had to stage a second coup. So from 1981 till 1992.
So tell us a little bit about this incoming administration. Do you think there's any hope that they will bring any changes in terms of unemployment rate and inflation in Ghana? Walk us through in that area.
Well, first of all, it is important to note that, well, they didn't win the elections as in like they genuinely won the elections. It was because of the anger that Ghanaians had against the incumbent government, right?
Okay.
Due to the gross mismanagement of the economy.
Okay.
So now that they are in power, I mean, this new government is coming to power. Well, are they going to do something better? Only time will tell. I mean, the guy who is coming to power, he has been in power before for 4 years, and Ghanaians thought he did bad, so they voted him out in 2016, right? So he only served 4 years, and now he's back. So then we thought he was bad, and then we voted someone new, and he was worse. Now we vote him back again. So is it gonna be different this time? Well, the only time will tell. Even if he were to be different, there is so much that has been damaged. How is he going to solve it in 4 years? And remember, he has only one term, that is 4 years, right? Is he going to do something that will, revitalize everything, that will change the economy for the better? That one too, only time will tell. But I don't think that there's so much hope in him. Ghanaians have so much expectations in him, and at least because of that, he needs to deliver, right? Whichever way it is, I think he needs to do something. I don't know if, so now the unemployment rate, I think was about double digits. I don't remember the exact figure. Is it gonna make a single digit? Well, maybe. Well, he came with this idea of 24-hour economy, which is being done all over the world. So in case where you would tell factories and companies to operate more than 8 hours a day, so they will have shifts, So some people will come and work maybe from 9 to 5, some will work the other maybe 5 till midnight or till the following morning. That is one thing he says he would do. Well, if he's able to do it, that would be great. But he never told anyone how he intends to do it, right? Or do we even have the capacity?
So it was like a lip services that he was
more like a lip
providing
service
to the constituencies that they vote them in.
So it will be hard to call it a lip service because he hasn't started work yet, right? So yeah, he was looking for vote. He could say anything, right? Yeah, just like the other guy, so they could say anything.
So what do you think made the Ghanaians to vote him back? Because they voted him back out in 2018, and then they 2016, and then they elected again 2024.
Yeah, I guess
what was the reason behind? There was no any other candidate to run for the presidency in Ghana.
So we have two main political parties, right? Mm-hmm. There are other minor political parties, but in all combined, those minor parties don't even take up to 5% of the votes, right? Mm-hmm. So it is these two major political parties. So they choose who should lead their parties, right? And let me state, so just as I said, Ghanaians did not vote for him mainly because they think he's better. I think Ghanaians didn't want to award bad governance with votes, right? So if you rule poorly like this party or this government had ruled Ghana for over 8 years, well, Ghanaians feel like we cannot award you for this type of damage you have caused to the economy or to the whole of Ghana, right? Well, what are we gonna do? Then we vote for the next best. Yeah.
All right. So what is? We almost running out of time. What is your last word now? The word that you're sending out to Tanzanians. They're going to have an election 2025. What the Tanzanians they need to do to make sure that they are going to vote, not they're going to war. Like you just indicated before, election is a contest, it's not the war.
Yeah, just as I said before, so it is just election, it's like a context, right? You go in and someone wins and someone loses, right? So, and I think Tanzania is in the right directions. I mean, you had Magufuli, who was, I mean, everyone knew he was a dictator. He was a dictator, and now you have Samia who has done something like that, and then the opposition. Well, I'm sure, I believe that everything is going to be peaceful, and also I do encourage Tanzanians to go out to the polls. In Ghana, this time the voter turnout was so low. I think it is like a historical low. We had 60% turnout, which is so far a historical low since 1992. So, and when there's a voter turnout, it has its own effects, right? Because it looks like only a smaller percentage of the voters are making decisions for the majority of the others, right? So that is not actually good for us. So I think I do encourage everyone there to come out and vote in Tanzanian elections next year. I don't know when it's gonna be, but I know it is next year. So whenever it is, I do believe, you guys are in the right direction. As long as everything, the government does not rig elections, and I do believe in
democratic
Samia Ulu to organize credible elections for the people of Tanzania to choose who should lead them in the next.
So the last question is: you had an opportunity to meet the Tundu Lissu here at the Dar-Es-Salaam. Why you forgot to mention his name?
Yeah.
And you talks about Magufuli and you talk about Samia Suluhu Hassan. What is your opinion with respect to Honorable Tundu Lissu?
Tundu Lissu is he the leader of the opposition now?
He's a vice president, chair, and he ran for presidency year 2020.
No, but next year election, is he the one? I know he's not the one. That is why I did not mention his name. Yeah, because I met him here. He was a fine gentleman. I was hoping he would be the one to lead his party for next year's elections. But unfortunately, he's not the one. So
we don't know yet, but they haven't
chosen yet. Yeah, I do hope that when they choose, he will emerge as the leader to lead his party to the next elections in Tanzania. I mean, he was good. I talked to him and we shared some ideas. He liked Ghana. He told me we are, the beacon of hope for them. So if we mess up, then Africa will mess up. So yeah, so he has a hope, the ideas, and then the ideals that the youth of Africa are hoping for. I think he's a guy who, one of the few guys who really know what the youth want, who really have the interests of Africans at heart. And I do hope that if he indeed is the leader of his party to go into the election, he emerges as the leader. I don't want to say that Samia Hulu is not doing well, but I have met Tundu Lissu, and he was a fine gentleman with very good ideas for Africa in that.
Shut Idris Mohamed tumefanya naye maongezi leo, na ilikuwa ni timing moja nzuri sana, na Tundu Lissu subiri kidogo hapo kidogo. Tundu Lissu anaongea na vyombo vya habari leo hapo Mlimani City. Kwa hiyo ilikuwa ni timing moja nzuri sana, na Idris Mohamed alishawahi kupata nafasi zaidi ya mara mbili kukutana na Tundu Lissu hapo katika Dar-Es-Salaam School of Business hapa katika University of South Carolina, na kama alivyotoa maoni yake kuhusiana na, ameongea naye amemwambia kwamba Ghana ni beacon ya democracy katika Africa. If they mess up, the whole continent of Africa will be in a mess. This young gentleman, anatoka Ghana. Amesomea shule za Ghana, amepata nafasi ya kwenda kusoma China, na sasa hivi yuko Marekani hapa University of South Carolina, anamalizia mwaka wake wa 4 PhD katika economics. Na mmemsikia jinsi ambavyo akitoa his opinion kuhusiana na uchaguzi wa Ghana na democracy, na watu wanatakiwa kufanya nini wakati wanapokwenda katika sanduku la polling, na katika polling stations, na vilevile kuwepo na uchaguzi ni ushindani, sio vita. Point ambazo tunatakiwa tuzichukue kwa kijana, kwa Watanzania ambao wametufuatilia American Swahili News na mnaokuja kutusikiliza hapa, watu wa serikali ya Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania. This is the younger generation, this is the future Africans. Wanazungumzia kuhusiana na election process, na huyu kijana ambaye hajawahi kufika Tanzania, bali tu amepata nafasi ya kukutana na Tundu Lissu alipotembelea chuoni kwake hapo University of South Carolina katika hiyo Dar-Es-Salaam School of Business, ambapo yeye yupo anasomea masuala ya kiuchumi. Sasa hawa ndio vijana ambao wanakwenda kufanya kazi labda World Bank, IMF, wanakwenda kuishauri some of these African governments hapo. He's from West Africa, most probably atakwenda kushauri some of these Eastern African, Southern Eastern countries, World Bank au IMF au African Development Bank, maeneo kama hayo. Na mmemsikia akizungumzia kuhusiana na huyu mtu ambaye atakuja kuongea na katika conference, press conference leo hapo Mlimani City, Tundu Lissu. What a coincidence. Wazungu wanasema hivyo. Kwa hiyo hii imeingia kwenye record katika American Swahili News pamoja na Swahili Villa Online TV. Kwa hiyo sisi ni watu ambao tunakwenda na nyakati, kama producer wetu katika vipindi vyetu huko Washington DC, Abdushatri, mara nyingi wanaongea tuko ahead of time. We are ahead of time. Na kuna some other interviews ambazo tumezifanya, na nafikiri kijana anatoka Zimbabwe, mmoja anatoka Zimbabwe, yeye hayuko katika PhD program, yuko katika masters program, graduate school, anatoka Zimbabwe, na mwingine anatoka Nigeria. Nafikiri tutazileta hapa mje muwasikilize vile vile. Kwa hiyo tutajaribu kuzileta hizi kwenda ahead of time, na tunakwenda katika general election Tanzania. Na sisi tumesikia general election ya Ghana ambao wameimaliza, na jinsi ambavyo wameiongelea kiusomi kwa kifupi zaidi katika kama 15 minutes only. The young man is very articulate, na kama mlivyomsikia, he's very young, is in early 30s, na anakaribia kumalizia PhD yake program. Utabidi tafute Tanzania. Nafikiri wapo chuoni, tumepata kama wako kama iti tupo wako. Nafikiri kuna mmoja dada mmoja, tamleta mwache kwanza amalize mitihani tu katika last week of exams, tamleta na mtamsikia hapa American Swahili News pamoja na Swahili Villa Online TV. Lakini tunamsubiri Tundu Lissu, anaongea na press hapo Mlimani City. Hatujui ataongea nini. American Swahili News pamoja na Swahili Villa Online TV hatujui. Kwa basi tukasema ngoja tuwai tumcheze. Unasema inakuja hapa kidogo. inabidi tuwahi kidogo katika programu yetu ya leo ili tuweze kwenda online live na baadaye tunaweza tukarudi tena hewani ili tuweze kuzungumza au kufuatilia mazungumzo ya Mheshimiwa Tundu Lissu pamoja na vyombo vya habari katika siku hii ya leo. Kwa hiyo basi tuta break alafu tutakuja tena hewani the second segment. Nikisema ku break ina maana kwamba itabidi tusubiri. Nafikiri press conference inaanza mida ya saa 4 za asubuhi according to nafikiri Jambo TV wanatuambia kwamba watakuwa hewani mida ya 10 am mida ya saa 4 za asubuhi za hapo Tanzania. Kwa hiyo itabidi tu break na tuwasubiri Jambo TV, na pindi tu watakapokwenda live na sisi hapa vile vile tutakwenda nao live. Kwa hiyo inabidi tuanze mapema ili tupate break na sisi, na tutarudi. Tutaweka link ya live broadcasting ya kumsikiliza Mheshimiwa Tundu Lissu ambaye atakuwa anaruka moja kwa moja live kutoka Mlimani City, na vile vile hapa American Swahili News pamoja na Swahili Villa Online TV tutakuwa live. Lakini tulisema kwanza tucheze hii interview ambayo inaendana sambamba kabisa na mwongeaji ambaye anakuja kuongea na press hapo Mlimani City katika siku hii ya leo. Na hii interview imekuwa kama what a coincidence, mimi naweza nikasema ya kwamba Idris Mohamed amepata fursa ya kuongea na American Swahili News pamoja na Swahili Villa Online TV, na anazungumzia masuala ya election outcome ya Ghana, na vile vile ametoa ushauri kuhusiana na upcoming election 2025 general election hapo Tanzania. Kwa hiyo basi tunasema tu kwamba kwa wale ambao bado hamjasubscribe, nendeni mkasubscribe, mshare pamoja na kulike American Swahili News pamoja na Swahili Villa Online TV. Tunakuja moja kwa moja kutoka katika studio zetu za hapa Columbia, South Carolina. Kama kawaida yetu tutarudi tena hewani pindi tu tutakapoungana na Jambo TV ambao tutakuwa tunakwenda live kufuatilia press conference ya Mheshimiwa Tundu Antipas Lissu ambayo itakuwa ikiendelea katika jiji la Dar-Es-Salaam hapa Mlimani City. Hii ni American Swahili News pamoja na Swahili Villa Online TV. Sambazeni upendo, pendaneni, tutarudi tena hewani hapa. Peace.